Now, I don't want to speak about, like, obviously Bayern Munich's a story there, and I'm sure I'll touch on that soon, but I want to speak on Harry Kane. I want to speak on Harry Kane because fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. And this was the one storyline coming out of this, or coming into this season after that transfer happened, where everyone was like, if this happens, something is seriously wrong. And it's Harry Kane going to the unlosable league, playing for the team that wins that league every single time and not winning the league. It's a this issue. Now, I want to speak about it from a more legacy perspective, because I think Harry Kane is undoubtedly an unbelievable footballer. One of, if not the best strikers the Premier League's ever seen. His playmaking ability off the charts, goal scoring ability is ruthless. Not the quickest, but doesn't need to be. His strength, his football IQ is unbelievable, and like brilliant number 9. Like I can't speak highly enough about him as a Chelsea supporter. He's killed us so many times. That goal he scored when it was 5-2 on New Year's Day at the old White Hart Lane was horrendous. That game still gives me nightmares. 5-2 or 4-2 or 5-3, whatever it was. That goal from like 30 yards out, bottom corner. Freakish stuff, right? And I can't speak highly enough about him as a footballer. But at what stage does legacy and trophies won start to become a conversation? Because realistically, he could have won a Ballon. I don't want to use. I feel like I'm gonna be using a lot of past tense in the way that I describe Harry Kane right now, because it feels like this was his chance when it's quite clearly not. Like, he'll probably win the league next year. Like, if we're being honest, he'll probably win the league next year, and this whole conversation will probably be null and void, and he'll finally win it, and Bayern win the league by 30 points because they bought £600 million worth of good footballers and just win the league again. That's besides the point. Harry Kane could have won the Ballon d'Or this year, right? Very easily won the Ballon d'Or. If he won the league with Bayern Munich, won the Euros with England, went far in the Champions League, and he top goal scorer in a couple of tournaments, he could have easily won the Ballon d'Or, right? Because I don't think, like, we're not in the era anymore where it's Messi and Ronaldo just winning it because they're Messi and Ronaldo. It's actual competition now. So Harry Kane could have won the Ballon d'Or. If Harry Kane won the Ballon d'Or, first English player to win it since Michael Owen, won the league with Bayern Munich, and won the Euros with England, leading into the first major trophy since 1966. That kind of establishes him, and that kind of casts away all the conversations about he's a great footballer, but what has he won? In one swoop, in 1 year, wins 2 trophies, goes far in the Champions League, and wins a Ballon d'Or. All that talk of he's a serial bottler, never won anything, what's he done, what's his trophy cabinet, all of that goes away, and all of a sudden he is one of the best footballers. I don't want to say ever, because I think that's an extreme reach. One of the better English footballers of all time, and one of the best strikers that the Premier League has seen, and that, like, in my generation, he's probably up there in the top 5 strikers in my generation, right? But all of a sudden, England, I mean, they had a couple of friendlies the other day, or like the last week. They, like, will they win the Euros? I don't know. I still think that they could, but you just don't know. He's not going to win the league. Can they win the Champions League? They've got Arsenal in the next round, which I think they win, but then they've got to versus Real Madrid or City in the semis, and then, I mean, once you get to the final, it's anyone's game. But Real Madrid and City both playing pretty good football. Bayern haven't been at their best. So all of a sudden, what has gone from the potential most kind of euphoric summation and the most kind of, or like the perfect strike through, or the perfect silencer, that's the word, the perfect silencer of an argument that has been put against him for a long time, close on maybe 5 or 6 years now. It could have been the perfect silencer, but it's almost like in the blink of an eye it's gone, because especially, I mean, who knows what's going to happen in the first leg of the Arsenal Bayern Munich game. But if Arsenal turn around and take a 3-0 lead going into the second leg, Bayer Leverkusen extend their lead at the top of the league to 15, 16 points, and the league is officially done. All of a sudden, you're like, can England win the Euros? And even if they do win the Euros, does that matter? and then the doubts start creeping into the minds of England just don't win. England don't win, and they've got Harry Kane up front, who we've seen right now can't win because he went to Bayern Munich, the team that always wins, and they didn't win. And Tottenham were the best team. Tottenham were the best team in England over 2 calendar years and didn't win the Premier League. How does that happen? How does that happen? They were by far the best Premier League team over 2 calendar years, 2015 and 2016. They were the best football team in the country, and they didn't win the league. How does that happen? Right? I don't. It's really weird. It's really weird because can a footballer with so much talent and so much ability be so cursed? I don't know. I don't know. And this season will hurt his legacy a lot. This season, I don't want to say this season will tarnish his legacy because he's still got years to go. He could very, very easily still win a couple of trophies, right? But this was the year where it was all meant to piece together. He was meant to go to Germany, win the league comfortably. He was meant to lead Bayern Munich back to the upper echelons of the Champions League. He was meant to lead England to a European Championship victory. And it was meant to be the perfect silencer to the one argument and the one kind of chink in his armour that has been potted at him throughout his whole career is that the fact that he doesn't win things. This was meant to be the year in which he won everything. And all of a sudden, Arsenal look favourites to go through in the Champions League. Bayern Munich can't win the league. And are England going to win the Euros? I think they will, but will they? Probably not. So, all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, is he not the person and the player, maybe not person, is he not the player that we thought he was? Is there something going on? And have we overrated him or whatever? I don't know. I don't know. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. It truly is. Because he's extremely talented. Absurdly talented. And absurdly talented footballers always get their dues. Always get their kind of... How would I describe it? They always get their reward. And he probably still will end up getting it. But this was the year it was meant to happen and it didn't happen. So, you just don't know these days anymore. You just don't know. Because next year, all of a sudden, Xavi Alonso could stay at Bayer Leverkusen. They get a couple of good players. They keep the core nucleus of that squad. They get a couple of players to top up, and all of a sudden they become a powerhouse, and the league is not a walk in the park anymore. And then England don't win the Euros, and then all of a sudden he's got to wait 2 more years to get a shot at the World Cup, and doesn't win the league again, and Bayern crash out of the Champions League, and it's happening again. And and all of a sudden he's 33 next year, and he's slowing down. He's not striking the ball like he once was. He wasn't moving like he once was. He's half a step behind the game, and all of a sudden it's slowly losing it now. There's a finite amount of time in which you can win things. A finite amount of time in which you can win things, and in reality, Harry Kane should have left Tottenham 2 years before he did, and he left Tottenham this year, and he's 31. He's 30, turning 31 in the off season. He's lucky he's a player that doesn't rely on pace, so you think he'd probably be at a very acceptable level for another 3 or 4 years, but still, it's not easy to win things and to prove doubters wrong when you're 33, 34. It's interesting. It's just a shame because he's so good. We don't speak this way about average footballers. We speak this way about the elite footballers because they are the elite footballers for a reason. I don't know. I guess we just have to kind of sit back and watch and ponder his response. Because look, if he wins the Euros, I think a lot of this is forgotten. And then again, if he wins the league next year, all of this is forgotten as well. So I guess we'll just have to kind of wait and see when it comes to that. When it comes to that whole thing.